want to lock in my answers with you. By chapter 22, I was like, okay, my fate is sealed. This book is amazing. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Thank you so much for clicking on my channel. So if you don't know, this Christmas I received the ACOTAR series and I wanted to sit down and film myself reading every single book, and that is what this is. This video is going to have spoilers. I feel like enough people have read this series where I can talk about it freely now. So if you have not read this series and you want to, this isn't the video for you. Let's just get started. I want to look up what Tamlin looks like physically. Like, obviously he's blonde and green eyes, but when he's in his beast forms, I'm having some trouble kind of visualizing that. It's really throwing me off how it says he has the body of a bear but the head of a wolf. So since we are going through this journey together, I thought I would look it up and film it. So let's see. Oh my gosh. Okay, I guess the whole bear part is really throwing me off. Wouldn't it just be easier to say he was like an elevated wolf? Is that controversial of me to say? I don't know. Here, let me show you what I'm seeing. These four were the ones that automatically came up. I forgot about his horns until this exact moment. This is just absolutely hilarious. Like, that's not the body of a bear. Like, it's just not. I even feel like this one is not the body of a bear either. That's just like a wolf. I guess this one seems the most realistic. I guess I'll just think of a wolf. Hopefully I don't run into any spoilers here, but oh well. I don't know that I love some of these depictions of it. You know, you can make your own rules when reading, so he's just gonna look like a wolf in my mind. How do you pronounce it's like fairy, right? I just want to make sure. So it is just fairy, right? Okay, fairy, and then the other one's Feyre.
So for A Court of Thorns and Roses, we've got Feyre, Nesta, Elaine, Tamlin.
Okay, Feyre, Tamlin. Hello everyone. Okay, I am here to interrupt this video because the way this video is going has been completely thrown out the window. I started reading a lot before bed, and the problem is I read over 100 pages last night when I was reading. I didn't film myself reacting to anything or talking about anything, and then same thing today at work. So I am now on page 332. So I wrote notes on like specific chapters and I want to read them out to you and kind of talk about them, and then I'll go and show you like all the clips in order, if that makes any sense. Editing me will have to figure this out, but let's start with yesterday. I read pretty much up till chapter 20, and these are my thoughts. So it says the parallels in these characters are just chef's kisses. I love, obviously, that they bonded over not feeling alone, feeling like they have the whole world on their shoulders and like all these people depend on them. So that was cute, obviously. So this is voiceover Montse, and I filmed myself reading these parts in real time because they just felt like big moments and I wanted to film them for you. So this is chapter 20, where we're essentially learning a lot more about the world, specifically the Great Right, and we end up meeting this mystery man who is clearly important, but we don't know how yet, and to me it was just kind of a big deal. Also, I want to take some time to talk about the fact that Tamlin having to sleep with someone in order for their magic to continue working is actually insane and kind of a wild choice. So I think obviously Tamlin is meant to pick Feyre, and I want to note that Sarah J. Maas wrote that he needed to find the maiden, not a maiden, and it's little things like this in books that just keep me up at night. But then Feyre and Tamlin talking after they and both we know that he picked someone else to perform the Great Right with kind of gave me secondhand embarrassment, I'm not gonna lie. The tension in this part was really good, which in the moment didn't make the choice feel kind of crazy, but now that I look back and realize that Tamlin slept with someone else and they both kind of like each other, and then he came to her and said, I pretty much wanted to pick you, and then he bit her. It was just a lot, and honestly, I truly needed a break after this. Okay, so moving forward to chapter 22, I love when authors use symbolisms to kind of track the progress and the changes throughout the storyline. And I loved the symbolism when she changed from her pants into a dress. I just loved that. And it wasn't even because it was making her softer. I thought it was just such a sweet moment for us to witness that she felt happy, or she felt lighter, and she felt safer. Also, then by this point, I wrote, my fate is sealed. This book is amazing. I'm gonna love it 5 stars. By chapter 22, I was like, okay, like this is it. Like I'm diving headfirst into this world. So now we are moving on to chapter 24. My guess is that obviously she has to be part of his mating journey, and that will be a turning point in the magic. And it was really obvious. The story was leading us towards he was gonna mate with her, or he wanted to mate with her, or they were keeping her away for a reason, because them mating obviously meant something to the book. And it did. And obviously now, looking back, them being together had something to do with the magic. Okay, so voiceover me is back, and here I learned that she leaves the spring court because of the dangers, and then she decides to come back, which is obviously all we wanted. But then we find out that all she had to do was say that she loved him, and it could have all been avoided. Feels like a dagger to the heart. Okay, so now we are in chapter 33. She has already gone back to the human world, and then she came back. All I wrote is, I'm really sad for all the what ifs that are going through her mind. You know, them being like, oh, what if she only had to say that she loved him before she left for the human land? Like, she only had to stay, she didn't fight, everyone was so disappointed. What if none of that would have happened? It would have broken the curse, he would have gotten his powers back. And that makes me really sad, because there is nothing worse than living life with regret. It was a big what if. Like, if she would have done that, and that just didn't happen, and that makes me so sad for her. But anyways, those are the thoughts I had thus far. I am now gonna give you my reaction to what I've read thus far. So I am on page 332, which is a couple pages before chapter 38, and a lot has happened. So she has made her way over to the night court. No, to the mountain. And then she is going through her first trial. She just survived her first trial, and then she is meeting up. What's his name? Rysand is talking to her now. And I think he's about to propose like another deal with her. I guess right now my only reactions are the tension that Sarah J. Maas is able to absolutely perfect in this book. Literally should be studied. It should be studied in school. The push and the pull, the give and take. We get a little bit more every time, and then she takes it all away. And that is how we end up where I read the whole day at work, and now we're here after a day. A lot of authors get the advice of don't be afraid to be mean to your characters, and that is something that Sarah J. Maas does not struggle with. I am just so grateful to Sarah J. Maas that she wrote this, and now I get the chance to go through this journey. So let's keep reading and see what happens. Okay, so I'm at chapter 43, which is right before she is about to enter her last trial. But before that, I want to take a second and talk about my guesses for the riddle. I don't think I know the correct answer. Obviously, it has to be a thing or an emotion or a concept. I don't think it's a human. I don't think it's a noun. So there are 2 words that I could come up with, and either it's courageous or freedom. So I don't know when we're gonna get the ending to this riddle. I don't know if it's gonna be this book or way far down the line, but just in case if it is at the end of this book, I wanna lock in my answers with you. At first I thought it was freedom, because it says there are those who seek me for a lifetime, but we never meet, and those I kiss but trample beneath me with ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair. So to me that reads like, for example, if a general is going through an army, is managing an army, and he manages to be clever against the enemy and got his freedom, it seems to favor the clever and the fair sometimes. And then I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. So that's where I'm like, okay, even if they don't get to witness the freedom still blesses them in some way by either having their sacrifice be worth something, having their sacrifice mean something. You see, these last two little paragraphs really get me. I just feel like it's a little bit of a stretch. It doesn't fit perfectly, but I guess I can finagle my way to make them align. And then the last one, for though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow. I don't think that freedom goes with that, or at least I can't think of any way that it connects together. Out of everything that I was thinking, freedom is one of the words that I think covered a lot of the phrases. And then the other one was being courageous or courage. I bless all those who are brave enough to dare to be courageous. My ministrations are soft-handed and sweet. By large, if you're courageous, you're gonna get something out of it. Scorned, I become a difficult beast. Like, if you're not courageous, or is it the lack of courage? And then for though each of my strikes lands a powerful blow, when I kill, I do it slow. So when courage kills, or when the lack of courage? You see, this is where these last couple lines are really getting me, but my boyfriend and I have talked a lot about the riddle, and this is the best I could come up with. I'm locking in my answers for freedom and courageous. I don't know, but I am so close to finishing the book. I have a couple of pages left, and I'm really excited to continue. Okay, so it has been a couple of days since I finished the book. I thought I would kind of let it sit for a while before I share with you my final thoughts. So overall, my rating, I am really stuck between a 4.5 or a 5 stars. I thought the book was great. I really enjoyed it. I read it so insanely fast. I didn't guess the riddle, obviously. You see, I thought about something like love, but I kept thinking that is too obvious, that is too basic. It would be a little boring if the answer was love. I thought it would be a little bit more complex and more nuanced, and then it was love, and I was just kind of like, that was a little underwhelming. I wanted it to be a little bit more clever, and I understand like love, oh, that's cute, but even me who loves romance books thought that was a little cheesy. I was like, oh, love. I don't know, I didn't love that. I didn't even care that I didn't get the riddle. I just thought love. I thought about, like, how is love not the first thing you think of? And I was like, that's too basic, that's too easy. It's not love. And it was love. I thought the trials would be a little bit harder, considering these are like magical creatures that are immortal and have magical powers, but they weren't. I do like that she was able to complete them kind of like by having some of these magical creatures help her, because I think it would have been so unrealistic, and I don't think I would have enjoyed it if she would have completed all these challenges by herself, considering she is a human and everybody else, like I said, is a powerful magical being. So like, for example, having Lucien's mom help her, having Rysand help her in so many of the small like tasks, and then have him basically cheat to have her win the second trial. I thought it was good. I thought that was a very smart decision, because I don't think I would have enjoyed the book if she would have just guessed correctly. I guess my next thoughts are about Tamlin. I know I've heard a lot of people be like, well, Tamlin didn't really do anything at the end. Tamlin just kind of sat there. And I do agree with that, but I was hoping there would be, I guess, a little bit more of an explanation as to why he was just sitting there. Maybe if we had Amarantha, like maybe she was holding something against him, like considering the book is about Feyre and Tamlin, like he literally just became a background character and there was just no explanation and there was no logical reason for it. But you know what, I guess this book cannot get a 5 stars, obviously, because I do have some, I guess, comments or thoughts about it. And honestly, like there's a lot of books that I give 5 stars that aren't perfect, but some of the parts are so good and so developed and so powerful that it makes up for some of the areas that it's maybe lacking in some areas. And in this book, I don't know if the good stuff is as good enough to cover or make up for some of the things that I find lacking. And one of these is the end in Tamlin's character. Overall for this book, I thought it was a 4.5. I think Feyre was a good character. I think there was a lot happening that made the story go by quickly. I would definitely recommend this. And honestly, I can definitely see what the hype is about, because I think Sarah J. Maas is a really good author. I'm actually not even sure when she published this in her career, but I thought the writing style was actually really easy to understand and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you are enjoying it, please be sure to check out some of the other videos on my channel, or if not, keep seeing the series of me reading A Court of Mist and Fury.